Margaret was 72 years old, a retired elementary school teacher living outside Asheville, North Carolina. Every morning she followed the same careful routine. She walked her dog at sunrise, made oatmeal with blueberries, lined up her medications beside a glass of orange juice, then swallowed what she proudly called her healthy aging stack: vitamin gummies, calcium tablets, a high-dose vitamin E capsule her neighbor recommended, fish oil, extra iron because she thought it helped her energy. She never missed a day. Her doctors always told her she was doing well for her age. Then one Tuesday morning, she blacked out while watering her roses. Her daughter called me afterward because Margaret ended up in the emergency room with internal bleeding and dangerously low blood pressure. The shocking part was not that she had a health problem. It was that almost nobody had warned her that some of the very vitamins she trusted could quietly become risky after 65, especially when combined with common medications older adults take every day. I still remember sitting beside her hospital bed while she looked at me and said, "I thought vitamins were the safe part." And that sentence has stayed with me for years. I'm Whitney, and in my practice, I've seen this happen over and over again. Good people trying to protect their health, trying to stay independent, trying to keep their minds sharp and their bodies strong, unknowingly creating dangerous combinations because nobody slowed down long enough to explain how aging changes the way your body handles supplements. Here's what I need you to hear. The rules change after 65. A vitamin that helped you at 40 can affect your kidneys differently at 70. A supplement your friend swears by can interfere with blood pressure medication, diabetes medication, or even your balance and memory. And the most frustrating part is that many older adults assume over-the-counter means harmless. The system rarely corrects that assumption. This is the part most people never find out. Vitamins are biologically active substances. They are not candy. They change chemistry inside the body. And when your liver slows down, your kidney filtration changes, and your medication list grows longer, those interactions can become very real. Now, please do not misunderstand me. I am not anti-vitamin. I recommend supplements to patients all the time. Some are extremely helpful after 65. Vitamin D in the right setting can support bone health. B12 can matter tremendously for nerve function in older adults. Certain nutrients become harder to absorb with age. But others? Others quietly create problems that get mistaken for just getting older. Fatigue, confusion, falls, bruising, constipation, irregular heartbeat, weakness, memory slips. I want to be very clear. Sometimes those symptoms are not aging at all. Sometimes they are the body waving a red flag. And here's the deeper issue. Many annual checkups never include a serious supplement review. Patients bring grocery bags of vitamins to appointments and get 30 rushed seconds discussing them. Meanwhile, older adults are spending billions every year trying to stay healthy, often without knowing which supplements become more dangerous as the body ages. That is why today I'm walking you through 7 common vitamins and supplements that deserve a second look after 65. Not because you should panic, not because you should suddenly throw everything away, and absolutely not because you should stop prescribed treatment without guidance from your physician. No, this conversation is about awareness. It is about understanding how aging changes risk. Because when you understand the mechanism, fear turns into strategy, and strategy protects independence. Stay with me on this because one of the items later in this conversation is sitting in millions of American kitchens right now, marketed as heart healthy, while quietly increasing the exact risks many seniors are trying desperately to avoid. And I promise you, the final recommendation I'll share today is the one that has changed the most lives in my own patients. Before we get into it, I'd love to know where you're watching from today, and if you currently take vitamins every morning like Margaret did. The first supplement I need to talk about is calcium, and I know that surprises people because for decades, Older adults were told calcium was almost automatic after menopause and beyond. I still remember Helen, a 68-year-old grandmother from Tulsa, Oklahoma, who carried calcium chews in her purse like breath mints. She had osteopenia, she wanted to avoid fractures, and she believed more calcium meant stronger bones. But when she came into my office complaining of severe constipation, fatigue, and episodes of heart palpitations, her blood work told a different story. Her calcium levels were too high. Not catastrophically high, but high enough to stress her kidneys and interfere with normal muscle and nerve signaling. Here's what most people never hear. Your body handles calcium differently as you age. Kidney function naturally declines over time, even in healthy adults. Stomach acid changes, medication use increases, and excess supplemental calcium, especially when taken in large doses without medical guidance, may contribute to kidney stones and calcium buildup in blood vessels. A large study discussed in the British Medical Journal raised concerns years ago about excessive calcium supplementation and cardiovascular risk in some older adults. The science is still debated, but the concern was serious enough that many physicians, including me, became much more cautious about blanket recommendations. Now listen carefully. That does not mean calcium is bad. Bones absolutely need it. But getting moderate amounts through food often behaves differently than swallowing high-dose supplements on top of a calcium-rich diet. This is where the longevity lens matters. The question is not, is calcium healthy? The real question is, how much calcium does your aging body actually need, and what form is safest for you personally? And that changes everything. If you take calcium, especially more than one supplement daily, I want you to ask your doctor or pharmacist to review the total amount you are getting from supplements plus food. And if you have kidney disease, heart disease, or take certain blood pressure medications, this conversation becomes even more important. Now let's talk about iron, because this one quietly causes problems in thousands of older adults who think they are helping their energy levels. I saw this with Leonard, a 74-year-old retired mechanic in Georgia who started taking iron after seeing an advertisement about fatigue. Nobody tested his iron levels first. Nobody explained that low energy can come from dozens of causes after 65, including thyroid issues, poor sleep, medication effects, low B12, depression, or heart problems. 3 months later, he developed severe stomach pain and constipation. His iron stores were excessively high, and his wife told me something heartbreaking. She said, "We thought vitamins were supposed to protect seniors. Here's what I need you to hear. Iron is not automatically helpful unless you are actually deficient. In fact, after menopause and later adulthood, many people no longer lose iron the way younger adults do. Taking extra iron unnecessarily can irritate the stomach, worsen constipation, and in some cases contribute to dangerous iron overload. A report from the Mayo Clinic has repeatedly emphasized that iron supplementation should usually follow confirmed deficiency, not assumptions about fatigue. Stay with me on this because the deeper issue is what unnecessary iron can hide. Sometimes fatigue is the first sign of something bigger. Heart rhythm problems, sleep apnea, blood sugar instability, early cognitive decline. If someone simply self-treats with iron, the real problem may continue quietly underneath. And I want to be very clear here. If your doctor prescribed iron for anemia, do not stop it without guidance. Many older adults absolutely need iron therapy. The danger comes from casual self-prescribing because a television commercial or a friend suggested it. Here's the safer path. If you feel exhausted, ask for blood work before adding supplements. A complete blood count, ferritin level, B12 level, thyroid testing. Get answers first. Your body deserves precision, not guesswork. Because the system often pushes older adults toward random supplementation instead of thoughtful investigation, and that frustration is very real for me as a physician. Too many people are trying to solve complex aging changes with a handful of pills from the pharmacy aisle. And now we need to discuss the supplement that may be increasing bruising and bleeding risk in older adults who think they are protecting their hearts. This is one almost nobody suspects. Before we move on, tell me in the comments which of these surprised you more so far, calcium or iron. I read these comments carefully because they help me understand what patients are hearing from the outside world versus what they actually need to know. The next supplement is vitamin E, and this is where I need every older adult listening to pay very close attention, especially if you take blood thinners, aspirin, or even certain arthritis medications. I think about Patricia often when I talk about this. She was 71, an avid gardener from rural Kentucky who believed vitamin E was protecting her heart and skin because that is what she had heard for years. She took a high-dose capsule every morning along with fish oil and a baby aspirin her doctor had recommended years earlier. Then she slipped in her kitchen. It was not a dramatic fall. She did not even hit her head very hard, but the bruising spread rapidly and she developed bleeding complications that became far more serious than anyone expected. When her medication and supplement list was finally reviewed carefully, the combination raised immediate concern. This is the part most people never find out. Vitamin E can affect blood clotting. A study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association years ago raised questions about high-dose vitamin E supplementation and increased risk in certain populations. Researchers have also worried about bleeding risk when vitamin E is combined with medications that already thin the blood. Now again, context matters. Small amounts from food are different from large supplemental doses. Nuts, seeds, spinach, these foods contain vitamin E naturally and safely for most people. But concentrated capsules, especially high-dose versions taken daily without supervision, can create a different situation entirely in an aging body. And aging changes the stakes. After 65, a fall is not just a fall. A medication interaction is not just an inconvenience. Recovery takes longer. Bleeding risk matters more. Independence hangs in the balance. So what should you do instead? First, never assume heart-healthy marketing equals safe for you personally. Second, if you take blood thinners, aspirin, or have a history of stroke, bring every supplement bottle to your next appointment. Every bottle, not a memory list, the actual containers. I cannot tell you how many dangerous combinations get missed because supplements are left out of the conversation. Now let's move to fish oil, because this one confuses people tremendously. I still recommend fish oil selectively for some patients. There are situations where it may help, but here is where things become complicated after 65. More is not always better. Walter, a 76-year-old retired firefighter in Arizona, started taking very high-dose fish oil because he heard it reduced inflammation and protected the heart. He doubled the recommended amount on his own because he believed natural products could not hurt him. Months later, he started noticing frequent nosebleeds and episodes of irregular heartbeat. His cardiologist reviewed newer research and immediately told him to stop self-adjusting supplements without supervision. A large study published in the New England Journal of Medicine explored how certain high-dose omega-3 formulations may increase atrial fibrillation risk in some patients. That matters because atrial fibrillation increases stroke risk, especially in older adults. Here's what I need you to hear. Something can be beneficial in one dose and problematic in another. The aging body becomes more sensitive to balance. This is why I get frustrated with the wellness industry sometimes. Older adults are constantly told if one capsule is healthy, 3 must be healthier. But biology does not work that way. If you use fish oil, review the dose with your physician, especially if you have a history of irregular heartbeat, take blood thinners, or bruise easily. And never assume over-the-counter products are automatically standardized or risk-free. Now we need to talk about the supplement that shocks my patients more than any other because many of them have taken it for years, believing they were supporting immunity and healthy aging. In reality, some are quietly pushing their bodies toward nerve problems, instability when walking, and even memory complaints. And the strange part is, the warning signs often appear so gradually that people blame aging itself instead of the supplement sitting in their kitchen cabinet. That is the one we are going to unpack next, because once you understand the mechanism, you will never look at healthy aging marketing the same way again. The supplement I was referring to is vitamin B6, and this one catches older adults completely off guard because B vitamins have such a healthy reputation. I remember Donna, a 69-year-old pianist from Vermont, who came to see me because her fingertips felt numb and she kept stumbling slightly when she walked downstairs. She was terrified she had early Parkinson's disease or some kind of neurological disorder. But when we reviewed her supplements, something stood out immediately. She was taking 3 different products containing vitamin B6, an energy blend, a multivitamin, and a healthy aging nerve support formula she ordered online. Her total daily intake was far higher than she realized. Here's what I need you to hear. Too much vitamin B6 over time can actually damage nerves. Stay with me on this because the irony matters. People often take these products hoping to support brain and nerve health while unknowingly creating the very symptoms they fear most. A report from the National Institutes of Health has discussed how excessive B6 supplementation may lead to sensory neuropathy, numbness, tingling, and balance problems. In younger adults, the body may tolerate mistakes longer, but after 65, falls become life-changing events. One fracture can steal confidence, mobility, even the ability to live independently. That is why this conversation matters so much. Donna looked at me and said something I hear constantly. But I bought it from the vitamin aisle. I thought they checked these things. And this is where my frustration with the system shows up again. Supplement labels can be confusing. Multiple products may contain overlapping ingredients. Patients are trying hard to stay healthy, but nobody teaches them how easily doses stack together. So what should you do? Read every label carefully. Look for duplicate ingredients across multiple supplements. And if you develop unexplained numbness, burning feet, or balance changes, do not just assume aging is catching up with you. Ask for a full medication and supplement review. Now, the 5th supplement is the one that usually stops people in their tracks, vitamin A. Yes, vitamin A. I know some of you are already thinking, wait a minute, isn't vitamin A important for vision and immunity? It absolutely is. The problem is excess. George, a 78-year-old widower from Florida, started taking high-dose vitamin A after reading that it supported immune health and healthy skin. Over time, he developed worsening dizziness, bone discomfort, and unusual fatigue. His family thought he was simply slowing down, but excessive vitamin A intake, especially from supplements rather than food, can become toxic more easily in older adults. And this is the part that changes everything. Too much vitamin A may actually weaken bones and increase fracture risk. A study discussed in the New England Journal of Medicine years ago linked high vitamin A intake with increased hip fracture risk in older adults. Think about that for a moment. The supplement someone takes hoping to stay healthy may quietly increase the exact event they fear most, losing mobility after a fall. This is why I keep saying the longevity lens matters. We cannot judge a supplement by marketing alone. We have to ask how it behaves in an aging body. And please understand, I am not saying avoid vegetables rich in beta-carotene. Carrots and sweet potatoes are not the enemy here. Whole foods come packaged differently by nature. The concern is chronic high-dose supplementation without supervision. Before you take any immune-boosting formula, any anti-aging blend, any mega-vitamin product, pause and ask one question. How many ingredients in this overlap with what I already take? That single question has protected countless patients in my practice. Now here's the part most people never expect. The biggest risk factor I see is not one dangerous vitamin. It is the combination effect. 5 supplements here, 3 prescriptions there, a sleep aid at night, an antacid after dinner, all interacting inside a body that processes chemicals more slowly than it did 30 years ago. And in the final part of this conversation, I'm going to walk you through the exact system I teach my own patients to protect themselves. It is called the 4-bottle rule, and it has helped older adults catch dangerous supplement problems before they became hospital visits. Because your goal at this stage of life is not taking the most pills. Your goal is protecting your clarity, your strength, your balance, and your independence for as long as possible.